And we are live at 5. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Unconscious Communication Secrets. Today, we're going to be talking about what is the first thing that you need before you get to anywhere new, before you go to a place that you haven't been to before, or you get to a stage in life that you have not been to before. What is the first thing that you need? So if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Munir, and this is Unconscious Communication Secrets. Let me just pull up my little woo. And basically, I'm gonna be talking to you about the first step that I truly believe that will help you get to somewhere that you haven't been to before in your life. Now, if you're tuning in live, please drop in and say hello. I'd love to hear from you. So let me tell you a story. I want to tell you about the first car that I bought. So after I left the UK, I studied and I worked, and then I moved to Bahrain. And I had the opportunity to buy my first car. Very, very exciting moment in life. And I went and I found this car, and this car was older than I was, right? This car was so old, I used to have to call it sir, because I've always been taught to respect my elders. And so this is the first car that I ever had. I bought it, and I started driving it initially, and it was a Land Rover Discovery, and it was so old that it had a number of problems. Now, this is the first car I ever had. So at one point, soon after I bought it, the AC stopped working. Now, if you have lived in the Middle East for any period of time, then you'll know that we have 3 seasons. We have hot, hotter, and we have Scarlett Johansson. And so having an AC in a car that doesn't work is just not a viable option. So I initially called up the dealership. I was like, okay, let me call up Land Rover and let me ask them about it. How much would it cost to fix the AC? And spoke to them, and they sent me an email. And I said, I called them up. I was like, I don't get, what is this phone number? And they said, that's not the phone number, that's the price. I was like, what? So I was like, okay, this is way too expensive. But then I spoke to my friend Brendan, and Brendan calls me and he says, Munir, why are you even considering going to the dealership? Your car is older than you. I mean, why would you take it to a dealership where they're going to spend and you're going to have to pay through the roof in order to get it fixed? So I was like, okay, so what should I do? He said, look, I'll give you the number for a garage. Just call, and here's how you get to it. Now, these are the days before we had Google Maps, before Google Maps was a big thing, right? And so I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, you want to tell me how to get there? So he starts to explain to me. He says, okay, you go to Maharak, you turn right over here, you go there, turn left, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay. It's coming in one ear, it's going out the other, right? I'm getting this information and it's not registering. So I'm like, okay, fine. Let me go and do this. Let me just go and figure this out. So I go and I drive, and I'm like, I'm following Brendan's instructions, or so I think. So I drive a bit this way, and then I go this way, and then I go the other way, and I'm like, no, this is not the way. And then I turn back, and then I go another way, and I go another way. And first of all, what's up with men in directions, right? We don't like to ask for directions. We're like, okay, I will figure this out. So I'm there going back and forth, etc. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me do one thing. So I call up the garage, and I'm like, hi, sir. I am trying to find your garage. I'm trying to find the garage. I want to take my car and get it fixed. And the guy on the phone says, okay, yeah, cool, no worries, I'll help you. Where are you? And I say, Yeah, I'm lost. That's why I'm calling you. So can you tell me how to get there? And he says, okay, but where are you right now? And I went, oh, I I don't know where I am. And he said something to me that like is one of the the greatest bits of advice I ever got. It's like literally, how can anybody help you get to where you want to go if you don't know where you are right now? And that is one of the greatest starting points that that's what we want to talk about today, because I think the starting point in order for you to get to any new place, if you want to improve your communication, if you want to be the greatest unconscious communicator ever, if you want to be the funniest person ever, whatever it is, you got to just figure out where you are right now. And that's what we're talking about today. And the metaphor that I like to give is think of Google Maps. Like if you were to get onto Google Maps, like open up Google Maps and you're like, okay, what is the first thing that Google Maps asks you to do? It asks you to share your location. You have to start by sharing your location. Where are you at right now? So first of all, a big shout out to my wife who's saying, hey, babe. That's a picture of my wife and my two kids saying hello. All right. If you're online, please drop a message, say hello. It'd be good to hear from you. All right. So the first step in getting to where you want to get to in life is literally sharing, understanding where are you at exactly right now. Like Google Maps. Google Maps is the most renowned app that helps you get to places that you want to get to. Follow the same principle. Figure out where you're at, then figure out where you want to go, and then you can plan how to get there. And so this applies to multiple areas. I mean, think of it. If you go to a gym and you start a gym membership, what's the first thing they do? They weigh you. They figure out like where you're at right now in terms of weight, body fat, all these things. You got to figure out your starting point. Same as if you're starting a nutrition thing or etc. Like you got to figure out where you're at, then figure out what your goals are, and then we can easily plan accordingly. And this is so important, because if you want to plan effectively how to get to that new place that you want to achieve, then the first step, let's figure out where you're at. And so with regards to communication, like this is my passion, like how to unconsciously communicate so that you get better results than ever before, how you can confidently connect, converse, communicate, or convert, whether it's online or offline. Like how do you improve that communication? And the first step is, let's figure out where you're at right now. And so I want to share with you a exercise that I will typically do with people when I run a workshop. And the first thing that I'll do in terms of an exercise is figuring out where you're at. And how do I do that? Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Wheel of Life, but it's essentially an exercise where you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in a number of areas in your life, right? You rate yourself, how happy are you with your health? How happy are you with your wealth, etc., on a scale of 1 to 10. So I do that in terms of your communication skills. So I would like you to, if you want to play along, please play along. Also, if you're tuning in live, please say hello. I'd love to hear from you. And let's get cracking. So I would like you to just rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How do you feel about your level of humor, your sense of humor, right? How satisfied are you in terms of your sense of humor on a scale of 1 to 10? And then write that down, okay? Then on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you, right? How confident are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Whatever that means to you. Now, it could just as a generic term, how confident do you feel generally on a scale of 1 to 10? So write that down. How good are you at creating a first impression on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at creating an amazing first impression? Just write that down. And then how good are you at starting a conversation? You know, starting a conversation and the small talk involved, like the beginnings of a conversation, small talk and starting a conversation. How confident are you in that area? How satisfied are you with your abilities on a scale of 1 to 10? And then next, how satisfied are you, or how good are you at having good like big talk, longer conversations, transitioning from small talk to big talk, to bigger, longer conversations? So write that down on a scale of 1 to 10. Next, how good are you at telling stories? Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How good are you at telling stories? And then, how good are you at presenting? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at presenting? Next, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at persuading people, at getting people to take action, at moving people, or at helping people to change, like change an area of their lives? Now, persuasion is multiple things. It could be your kid, getting your kid to do something. It could be selling. It could be buying. It could be negotiating. It's multiple areas, but persuasion is, and it's helping someone to make a life decision that will help them to change their life. That is persuasion as well. How good are you at persuasion on a scale of 1 to 10? And then next, how good are you at reading people, at understanding body language, at understanding that the different personality types? How good are you at that on a scale of 1 to 10? And then next, how good are you at being adaptable to different people? You know, so, and here's what I mean by that. You know, some people are great at talking with men and cannot talk to women to save their lives. Some women can talk to women, but they can't talk to men to save their lives. Some people are great at speaking with average everyday people, but as soon as it comes to a person of authority, they crumble. How good are you at being adaptable to different people and different personality types? So rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Cool. So this should give you a great starting point as to where you're at in terms of your communication skills. Now, the questions to ask yourself when you look at those numbers, how balanced are they? Right? These are some of the questions you want to ask yourself. How balanced are they? If you look at, like, which areas are you the weakest in? Which areas are you the strongest in? If there was one area that you need to improve, which one of them would it be? Which area, if you improved, would like have the biggest effect on your communication? For example, is it your ability? Is it confidence? Maybe. Like if you became more confident, then you'd present better, then you'd be funnier, then you'd have a better first impression. You know, is there one of those areas, if you improved that area, it would have the greatest effect on all other areas? So it's a good question to ask yourself. And then when you look at some of these areas, are there any of those scores that at one point in time were lower? So if you are a 7 in terms of your humor, and you used to be, you know, at one point in time you were a 3, like myself, for example, when I was growing up, in terms of humor, I was maybe a 2, and now I'd probably say I'm like 7 or 8, right? I love to laugh. I love to help people laugh. But is there an area in your life where you have improved at one point? Like from what you were before? And if you have in some of those areas, what did you do in order to improve? Is there an area that you were higher before? Perhaps you used to be more confident and you're not as confident now. These are all very good questions to understand where you're at right now. And when you begin to understand where you're at, it is so powerful. In fact, my phrase of the day is know where you are before you can go far. Know where you are before you can go far. And I've had to go through this in multiple areas of my life. Every single personal development program that I've ever attended has started out by, let's figure out where you're at right now in life. And then let's figure out how you can get to the next stage. So this is Munir coming at you with another video. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. This is an amazingly cool exercise. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be creating a sheet. Hopefully you can download that at some point in order to do this exercise. But thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. One love, and I will see you on another video very, very soon. In case you have not, please do subscribe to my channel. And other than that, I look forward to seeing you on another video very soon. Peace out, one love, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.